My name is Chechitra Ramesh. I'm an engineer at Qualcomm and also a mentor in Technovation UN. And we have Swapna here. Swapna is also an engineer at Qualcomm and one of the mentors. Let me first give you an introduction about what we're doing today, about this event, and why this event is, and how this event is important for girls. So as you all know, the representation of girls in the technology industry is so low. Out of go introduce it. So there's a lot of things you go through when you go through this competition. So the whole thing happens in about 12 weeks time, and the students work with mentors, people that are already female mentors mainly, people that are in technology field are having interest to go through it, and that's how this works. Right? So that is the idea about the competition. So the girls here, the 5 teams here, we have teams from SanDiego. There are many schools participating in this event. So far, we only have 2 schools doing it, Galnate and Westview, both from this North County area. So our idea is to go encourage students from a lot of other schools to come and participate. So Qualcomm is a big supporter of this team. Qualcomm provides, the whole thing is run by, I wouldn't say all, but most of it is run by engineers from Qualcomm. But Qualcomm is willing to provide more and more help. So the girls went through 3 months of this whole process. They came up with the app. The final idea of the way the competition works is you come up with the app, you do the prototype, you do the business plan, and you go to an event, you pitch your idea. You convince people how good your idea is and try to get some funding. That's what happens in real life. In this case, we're not looking for funding, but in the real life, in this event, the girls are going to come here and talk about what they did, why their app is good, and why their app can make a difference in the community and eventually maybe make some money also. So that's what they've been into.
You need to know the weaknesses and strengths of each of your team members. One of you could be a very good programmer, one of you could be very good at coming up with ideas, designing things. So knowing the strengths and weaknesses as you form a team could be very helpful. They want to give you as much as they can.
We're seniors from Westview High School, and today we're going to present Break Buddy, which means stress-free study.
What we tried to address with this app was stress, especially among students. The highest factor was academics and school, which is where our app comes in.
Alright, so we named our team Big Hero 5 because we watched Big Hero 6 and we really loved it. And we were really intrigued by Baymax, so we kind of made our own Baymax, except its name was Break Buddy. So Break Buddy is basically a stress relief app, and it's designed to reduce the amount of stress in the user, and there's time breaks, so it allows users to balance their work and break time so they can remember to take breaks, because sometimes we do forget to take breaks. And every time you open the app, there's a new inspirational quote, and it changes every time, and there's music, videos, and pictures anytime you feel like taking a break.
So for our marketing strategy, we plan to just start off with giving this to local businesses and have this be like spreading to other people by word of mouth. And then after that, we plan to put up flyers with QR codes at schools and companies, even grocery stores, so that people can come directly scan the code and get the app that way. And then after earning our first little bit of revenue, we plan to advertise on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and other social media websites, even YouTube, so that we can get some more users. And finally, we would also try to give this to other places that deal with stress in their everyday lives. Like,
I know there's different research suggesting the amount of time you should study before taking a break. Did you look at that at all and think about incorporating that into your app so the app itself could say, okay, after 55 minutes you need to take a 10-minute break or whatever research suggests, rather than having the user suggest the length of time to study and take a break for?
I think for us, we were thinking like since each user would know based on like previously like how long they can work before they know they get distracted and stuff, because I think it's different for every person, and I think it's kind of important for you to know like how long you can work before you start to get distracted and not just based on like a general thing.
We are our Alpha Wolf Squadron. That's our team name. It's a Shrek reference, but and then we developed the app Spectrum.
And I'm going to tell you a little about Spectrum. So Spectrum is an Android app that aims to provide a social media network for the LGBTQIA+ community. And unlike other apps, Spectrum is open to all members of the LGBTQIA community, especially younger users looking for a safe support system or information about understanding their gender, sexuality, and romance. And the app provides a medium through which users can discover and communicate with other users of the same age and then similar gender identity, sexual orientation, and romantic orientation in their area.
And so when our potential revenue, there are tons of conferences that go on in the SanDiego community that are targeted for youth, and then we can help hold booths, we can pass out flyers, those would be our plans, and there are plenty of organizations in SanDiego that we are close in contact with, like Youth for a Cause, the Community Foundation, the Youth Center, that would love to sponsor us or advertise for us for free when we don't have a lot of revenue at first. And then our later revenue plans would come from advertising, and then obviously going through social media outlets like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and things like that in order to share our app and other things.
Overall, our app is important because it gives people who are exploring their identity a resource to find themselves. Our app helps connect people who share similar struggles, and that gives them an outlet to overcome their struggles and find their identity.
California has one of the largest populations of youth in the entire country. And we know that SanDiego is like a big place for youth too. So we wanted to find a way to connect us together so we can share experiences with each other and maybe have better access to these events. And our app is for younger people between the ages of 12 and 25, unlike a lot of other apps.
From a business perspective, you talked about zero tolerance and policing that. How do you see that applying from a sustainability to a business to affecting your costs to running a business? Because that could be potentially a high cost of and keeping it acceptable to all users.
We haven't acted upon that, but we've thought about how it would definitely cost money to maybe hire someone in different counties or areas to be responsible for getting all of those feedbacks or all of those alerts of someone who isn't feeling safe or is reporting a user, and then going out and blocking those users themselves. So doing a kind of community or county basis of having people, that's the only thing we really thought of, instead of having a database where we have to deal with that. So it probably would cost more money to expand that. So we had, so that would take definitely some revenue in order to really fulfill those goals.
This is Maddie, that is Anjali, Ermi, and Lillian. We are the Incendio team from Del Norte, and I'd like to get a little interactive. Raise your hand if you're currently going or have previously gone to high school. Okay. Keep your hand raised if you ever sat in a class that you didn't like. Now, look around the room. There are others just like you who have sat in a class that they didn't like. 20% of the student population drops a class in the beginning 2 weeks of the trimester. That means 1/6 of the trimester is spent in the counselor's office trying to change people's schedules. This can lead to negative consequences such as missing basic background information for the rest of the course, and can eventually lead to dropping out. AP Spanish is to be thought about the language Spanish, but it is actually about the history. And me going into AP Spanish, I would have probably dropped in the first few weeks when I found out that it was about the history, because I want to learn about the language, not about the history. Time conflicts often happen.
Ember is the bridge to the information gap that students are experiencing between themselves and their learning environment.
When you click on Choose a School, you'll be taken to a map with all the nearby high schools in your location. We wanted to use a map because we thought it was a simpler and easier way to find a high school instead of actually manually searching for one. This just has a list of all the classes available in your school, and beside it has a star rating. Depending on how much the stars filled up, that's the rating of the class. So say it was filled up halfway, then you would have a 2.5 rating. You can scroll up to see more, and you can also search manually for classes. So when you click on AP Chem, you'll be taken to the AP Chem homepage. So we have the title of the class, the overall rating out of 5 stars. And below that, we have the number of people that reviewed it, and then the most important part, which is the description. So what people would put in the description is, teachers can edit this description. So they would put in there what they want their students to know before taking the class.
Our initial market entry strategy will be to talk to school, districts, ASB directors, and counselors. And over time, we hope to advance to the Board of Education of California. For the rest of 2015, we'll be developing our app, and by 2016, our customer target will be our peers. And our starting point will be from our school, Del Norte, and over time, we'll be hoping to expand our customer base to hopefully the whole United States.
This helps because for now, teachers have a way of surveying their students through a piece of paper we usually get at the end of a trimester or the unit, and it's pretty much to just give them feedback, but it's really not a very easy way to do it, so Ember's going to help with a more efficient way to do that.
Good presentation. This is an interesting topic. So I have a question. Have you already launched it? Do you have any feedback from your friends? Have they tried to use it?
Okay, so we downloaded the app, and to test it to see how other people liked it, we brought our device to school and let people look at it, and we did get feedback from them.
And from their feedback, we learned a few things, like a few ways to improve our app, and from our peers, we got a lot of positive feedback, so we understood that it's a great idea and that we could move forward, and over time we could release this into the market.
And are you interacting with the school website or anything for information? Do you connect to the school servers or get information from there? For example, if I have to join a club and I need information, does it direct me to the school site, or do you have your own database for that?
Well, we got the list of clubs for our school from the website. From our peers, we got a lot of positive feedback, so we understood that it's a great idea and that we could move forward, and over time we could release it.
With game is targeted towards mostly teens of ages 13 through 19, and it's mostly towards middle and high school students.
You know, the business plan for this and the business aspects of this. The target audience that you are looking for here for this application, is it specifically just for high school students, or is that something that can be used across the board? Or
It's mostly for high school and middle school.
By how much time you need for each task, or is there a way to list it?
We haven't made a way to edit, it will pop up in red if you go onto this app. If it's coming up, if the due date is really close, it will pop up in red. But also, we haven't put in a notification thing, but we have thought about.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Vivian.
And we created the app Whistle for this year's Technovation Challenge. Go away with our security alert application called Whistle. So our app Whistle allows users with the push of a button to send out an anonymous text alert to other mobile devices in the nearby area. This can be useful in any uncomfortable situation involving suspicious activity, verbal assault, and/or physical assault.
In our app Whistle, you could probably send out non-preset. The messages would be sent through text rather than just a notification sent by the app itself.
Generate revenue by having people buy our additional GPS tracking system, and through having school administration use our app. The alert messages will automatically be sent to the school admin.
To actually come and pitch these ideas in front of a great audience and I'm sure that is going to be very, very encouraging to all the girls.
I was in school, I was the only girl, and now all these girls have, mentors, and it inspires them to not only develop an app, which people can do, pretty easily, but to actually think about the applications and think about where it's going to go in the future. Because these days, people create apps like in a weekend and it just fails because they don't actually have a future plan. And I think it's good to plan, especially if you're young. Getting in early is important to kind of ground those understandings before you enter college.
Everyone, I'm Hina. I'm an ex-Qualcommer. I worked in Qualcomm for 8+ years in the Internet Services Division, and recently I moved to Teradata in the Cloud Engineering team. I would like to thank Tammy, Swapna, and everyone from the QIS team to gave us the opportunity to interact with the Technovation Challenge and work with the Westview High School students. I think it was a great experience.
In the 1980s as an electrical engineer, worked for about 12 years in places including Linkabit, which is somewhat of a precursor to Qualcomm. And then decided to go into teaching. I teach mostly computer science, but also physics and math. And as a female computer science teacher, I just assumed that there would be a lot of girls comfortable taking my classes. But year in and year out, I always saw it was much lower than 50%. I myself, when I was around 11 years old, I've talked about this story with some of my students as well. I had an opportunity to get a ham radio license, which is now probably a little less common. And I was, at age 11, the only girl in the group. I had a little bit of trouble with the electronics portion of it. And so at that age, I decided, oh, these other little boys, I'm just as smart as they are, and so I can learn this stuff. And so I ended up many years later getting an electrical engineering degree. And even at that time, again, there were very few women in my classes. That was some time ago, and yet things haven't changed very much. I think it's really overdue. It's right for a time to change that situation. And so getting back to my classroom, I thought, what more can we do to encourage more girls to take these classes? And so I suggested to some of the girls who were in my classes already to start a club, which is now called the Women Computer Science Club. And one of the main things that we did was to participate in the Technovation Challenge. I think it's a really wonderful program. If you want to succeed in the technology field, it's important not just to come up with a great idea, and also to actually code and develop the software, but to figure out how to market it, otherwise you're not going to be successful. And so this competition is really teaching quite a few wonderful skills, as well as getting up in front of an audience and doing a pitch. It's a really good experience for all of you to be able to do that. And so I hope you really get a lot out of this wonderful opportunity. So I'm glad to see all the girls who are involved with this, and I hope we have even more and more. And I hope to see that this really spreads in all of San Diego County. I really appreciate Qualcomm's involvement in support.
Improvement in the angles. They're trying to take videos in top view, side angle, and impressive stuff for high school students.
I think you all deserve a round of applause for this. All of you guys did an excellent job. So as the most viable application, I am very happy to announce that the Alpha Wolf Squadron team who developed the Spectrum application are the winners of this category.
I'm going to give away is for best presentation, and what that takes into account your whole pitch which you made, the points which you highlighted, your body language, the way you were communicating within the group, and the way you answered your questions. They answered questions very, very well. So I think the winner for the best presentation is the app called Ember, developed by a group in SanDiego.
We have is a technical score, and the technical score also encompasses how good your UI is, how easy it is to use, and how intuitive it is. So for this score, the team that we decided to choose was the Break Buddy, the team called Big Hero 5.